Familiarity is everything. Once a game has earned your trust, be it a designer, maybe a production company, maybe just a franchise. Once you've earned that trust, then you're willing to spend more money to back and support more games. Now, that's what this video is going to be about. We're going to be looking at my top 10 games that are familiar to me. Now, all these games are going to be based on games that are in my top 50 board games of all time. So let's go check out what are these top games for 2025. Welcome to the world of Everdell, where these cute little woolen critters are going about just living their daily lives. In this worker placement tableau builder game, we're going to be going out collecting resources which will trade in for these cards, which will grow this tableau in front of us. Now we want these cards to try and match up with other certain cards. Brilliant worker placement game, and this is my number 3 game of all time. So because Everdell is so familiar to me, that's why I'm intrigued by Everdell Silverfrost. Now, Silverfrost is going to be part of this Edge of the Map series, which are standalone games in the Everdell universe. Now we have Farshore, and now we have Silverfrost. So Silverfrost is set to the south of Everdell, below those Spirecrest Mountains, and it's a whole new land. Now, what's different to this from the standard Everdell? Well, mainly, we're now deep south, so it is cold. There is a lot of snow, so snow is going to be a factor. We're going to need fires to be able to try and open up worker placement spots. Our rangers, we're going to need to put snowshoes on for them. And then also we need to climb up this mountain to light this beacon so we can get the aid of powerful critters. It sounds brilliant, but I do have concerns. My first concern is bloat. Everdell already had so many expansions. I thought there's no way we could keep growing this world. Now we've got Farshore, now we've got Silverfrost. How far is this going to go? And I don't know how different those games are that I want to keep supporting. But for now, definitely interested in Silverfrost. We'll see going forward how I feel. The other concern I have is Andrew Bosley artwork. Now he created the artwork in the original Everdell series, and it is the most beautiful artwork. I absolutely adore it. Then Farshore came along with a different artist. Now Silverfrost is coming along with a different artist, and all I want is just more Bosley. So unfortunately, we don't always get what we want. But anyway, Everdell Silverfrost. Utilising adorable artisan dragons to entice people into your shops in this local quaint village? Well, that's Flamecraft in a nutshell. Now, this is going to be a worker placement shared engine builder where really the artwork is just the highlight. Now, the artwork from Sendaratang with these cute little dragons, it is beautiful. Now, 2 games that are giving me similar vibes right now. First one is Critter Kitchen. Now, Critter Kitchen is hopefully going to be in my hands very soon, so hopefully this won't be anticipated for very long. But in Critter Kitchen, we are these chefs, and we're going to need to go out around the town to get all these ingredients to be able to make this dish for this food critic. Now, there's basically 2 types of meeples. There's a slow meeple that can only can bring back multiple ingredients. There's a fast meeple that can go out and bring back 1 ingredient. It's pretty much the crux of it, but look, I'm going to be learning the game very soon. And look, really, you want to make the best dish possible. Now, this has got Sendaratang artwork with cardboard alchemy. It's an absolute match made in heaven. Now, the other game that's giving me similar vibes is we've got Tea Witches, and this was just announced recently. Now, Tea Witches, Sendaratang artwork, Many Vega design, and Many Vega is the designer of Flamecraft, so you can see how very similar, except we've got a different publisher this time. We're going to be using the Op Games. Now, in Tea Witches, this is a push your luck game, and we're going to be using tea pups. I don't know what tea pups are, but they're looking pretty adorable. Anyway, there's going to be a Rondell crystal fountain where we're going to be getting a whole bunch of tea. Now, we're going to need to bring in these witches into our queue, but if you get the same witch, then basically you lose them from the queue. Look, that's the general gist of Tea Witches. So we have Tea Witches and Critter Kitchen, both of them giving me very much familiar Flamecraft vibes. Wondrous Creatures was my number 1 board game of 2024, and for great reason. It is a brilliant game. If you haven't checked it out, please go check out that video on how Wondrous Creatures plays, because it is brilliant. Now, Wondrous Creatures is from Bad Comet Games, artist Sophia King. It's also from designer Yeom. Guess who else is coming out with designer Yeom and artist Sophia King and Bad Comet Games? It is Shallow Sea. Now, I don't know too much about the game. All I know it's based in the Great Barrier Reef in Australia, which is fascinating because I'm actually going on a cruise there later in the year to the Great Barrier Reef. Wouldn't it be cool if I could play that game on the Barrier Reef? Anyway, Shallow Sea. They're saying it's a mixture of Calico and Cascadia. I'm in for that, and Bad Comic Games is kicking everything out of the park lately, so I cannot wait for that. Now, what have we got? We've got a solo 2 points, which isn't my favourite solo, but it's going to be fine. There's supposed to be a family mode, drafting goals. Look, I don't know. Shallow Sea, Bad Comic Games. I don't know. I'm just really excited for it, mainly because of Wondrous Creatures. Do you love combos, bonuses, high interaction, and a good engine builder? Well, I have for you a game called The Sixth Realm, which is based in the Five Realms universe. Are you confused much? Well, let me try and explain. We have games like Merchant's Cove and Bardwood Grove before it, which are based in this Five Realms universe. And what we have a poisonous fog, which was over the original ancestral homeland. And this poisonous fog made everyone venture south to make up all these other 5 realms. Anyway, that fog is now lifting and people are starting to go exploring back to that ancestral homeland. That is the basis of the 6th realm. Now, this is going to be a slightly heavier game than what we've mentioned previously, but it looks brilliant. Now, what we have is we're trying to win the favour in the Stone Council. We're going to be going out. We've got 5 guilds. We've got the Queen's favour. There's just a hell of a lot going on. But it's the game that's going to be absolutely perfect for me, mainly because I absolutely adore the Miko artwork. If it wasn't for that artist, and look, this is something saying for all artists, look, if you have a style, stick to this style. That's what the Miko does. He sticks to his style and it is brilliant and you know it straight away. We also have Matthew Dunstan, Australian designer. Look, I'm absolutely enthralled, anticipated, cannot wait for this 6th realm. I'm starting to see a theme here. When a designer creates a world that I truly get immersed in, then I get invested in that franchise. Now, Ryan Lockett from Red Raven Games has made this world Arsium, and there's all of these games based in this world. Look, we have Now or Never, we have Near and Far. The game I want to talk about is actually called Above and Below. Now, Above and Below made my top 50 games of all time, and I don't actually own it. Now, I think it was more the fact that I love all of these games from that series, and I wanted to put Above and Below in because it was the original from that sort of series, that Now or Never, Near and Far, Above and Below. Now, Above and Below, you are going out and you're basically trying to create this village. You're going to be going out exploring these caves. You're going to be recruiting villagers. It was a beautiful game, but what was the true element I loved? It was the story. So yeah, you have a game, but on top of it, you have this incredible storyline that just went along with it. And games like Now or Never takes that storyline to an even higher level. Okay, so Above and Below was now 10 years ago. And Ryan Lockett decided, look, I'm going to create Above and Below Haunted to celebrate the 10 years of Above and Below. Now, the reason why I never bought Above and Below is because I knew Above and Below Haunted was coming out, and, well, I've backed that, so I want that game to come in, and hopefully that will come in 2025. Because look, I am so anticipating that game. Now, what's different from Haunted to the original Above and Below? Well, we got things like boats, and we've got new adventure cards, and we have, I think there's dangerous cards and normal cards, something like that. But the main thing we're talking about is that haunting. So you now have ghosts in the village. And look, you're still going to go out, you're still going to go exploring, and be creating this village, you get all the villages, very similar things, but just tweaked and better. Look, I cannot wait for Above and Below Haunted. The original 2013 version of Rococo was such a solid game, but it was a bit dull. Fast forward to 2020, and Eagle Gryphon Games decided, let's amplify this game and make it as deluxeified as we can. And we have a big box, we have an incredible main board, vibrant colors, incredible components, and we have Rococo Deluxe. So that's 2020. Now, come 2024, we've got a game called Cookie Champion. Didn't last very long. It's still on BGG. You can go check it out. But basically, they renamed that. And we're going back to this world of King Louis XV, and we have La Patisserie Rococo. Now, what are we? Well, we're pastry chefs, and the King Louis, he's decided, look, he wants a big festival, so we've got a garden festival, and our job is to go out. We're going to be hiring these pastry chefs. We're going to get all these ingredients and we're going to be baking the best pastries possible at this event. Look, this is going to be a streamlined Rococo. That's what I get out of this. It's going to be a lot of the exact same gameplay, but now this game plays in 90 minutes. So if that tickles your fancy, then look, we are in for a treat. Now, Rado ranked this #2 in his November roundup. So look, we know Rado loves a bit of Rococo action. So anyway, I'm anticipating it. Rado's anticipating it. Well, he's already got it. So anyway, you get it. La Patisserie Rococo. From the world of Rococo to the wonderful world of Calico. Now, don't let this cute cover fool you. This Calico cat on this Calico quilt, this is brain burny. It's puzzly at its best. Now, we've got another Calico game. We've got Knitting Circle. Now, this is going to be from Flat Out Games, but it's actually a different designer. Now, the reason Knitting Circle is so anticipated for me is because my partner actually backed this on Kickstarter. It's actually her first game she's ever backed, which makes me really happy. I've got her into the hobby and now she's backing Kickstarter games. But anyway, she loves knitting. That's why she loves Knitting Circle. Okay, let's fast forward. We have now, instead of quilts and cats, we've now got cats and yarn. Okay, now go with me here. That cat is going to be choosing the yarn for us. A bit weird, but anyway, the cat's going to choose the yarn and then you're going to have it in 2 different orientations. You need to put them going down this garment and it's got to be dependent on that orientation going down. Now, it's going to be exactly like Calico where you've got colors and you've got different patterns you've got to match. You've got all these sort of goals that you're trying to get for extra points. It's that same brain burny Calico goodness, but now with a knitting theme that my partner truly adores. That is Knitting Circle. Vindication truly rocked my world. Now, this is a fantasy exploration game, which I love, but there was something different about this game. And I think probably the true highlight was this is one of the best solo experiences I've ever had in a game, period. Now, we are this wretched soul and we've wound up on this island and we're going to go out exploring this island. This island's made of all these modular hexes. We're going to have companions. Look, it's pretty much a resource management game with some really cool mechanics. Now, we are now talking about a game called Vestige, which is from the same designer who actually owns Orange Nebula. And look, Vestige is Vindication, but in an hour. Now, I have no idea if that claim is accurate or not, but if it is, if I can get this taste of Vindication in an hour format, I'm pretty sold. Now, the theme has changed. We are now trying to build covert networks to gain leverage over this abandoned moon. And that sounds fascinating. But what I love is it sounds like a lot of the mechanics are going to be very similar. That resource management, we've got a whole bunch of, we'll be playing out cards. We're going to have the same, I guess, alchemy system based off the color wheel. We're going to have different endgame triggers, co-op mode, just so much goodness. Plus also another solo mode. They're talking about a Nemesis solo mode, which brings in different characters, which hopefully over time they're going to bring in more and more characters that you can play solo against. It just adds to everything I love about Vindication in just hopefully a quicker 60-minute format. Sounds brilliant. Now I'm really struggling to think of what could be number 10. What game do I really love that has got another game that's coming out that's very familiar? Just don't know. And of course that game was Wingspan. Now, if you've been living under a rock lately, maybe you missed that everyone around the world is talking about a game called Finspan, which is Wingspan, but now about fish. So look, Jamie Stegmaier does things very differently. No one had a clue about this, came out of the blue, he announced it, and the very next day there's about 1,000 reviews. And I'm not going to really talk about Finspan because, to be honest, there's so many videos that just dropped recently that you can go check those out and learn how the game plays. But what I'm going to talk about is, I guess, my concerns for the franchise. Now, we had Wingspan. Wingspan was brilliant, and we're going to have 1,000,001 expansions, which I love, and we'll get all of them. Then we had Wyrmspan, which is about dragons. Dragons didn't really interest me, and the, I guess, artwork was a bit dull. Now, with the release of Finspan, I have concerns, grave concerns, that we are really milking this cow, and it's the same concerns I have for Everdell, that look, if we keep flooding the market with all these games, it loses the prominence that the original game truly had. And it's, look, while it's anticipated, I'm also a bit worried. Now, Finspan, like Spycrest, I will get because I love the original. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, what's next? Horsespan, Gerbilspan? There's only so much you can milk this cow before that cow just says no more. And I think that's where we're at. If there's any more after this, I think I'm done. Finspan will be my last. So anyway, while it's anticipated, look, I'm keen to check out fish. I don't know if I love fish. I'll find out if I love fish very soon. But look, that was my list. Now, if you appreciated this video, how about giving me a cheeky subscription, a little thumbs up, or even a comment, and let me know what is your game that you're looking forward to in 2025 that is familiar to you. Now, there's games like Western Legend Stories. There's a campaign game for Flashpoint coming out, a legacy game for Flashpoint, which seems cool. Dice Throne's got this Missions, which is a solo campaign. There's a lot of cool things I missed. Point Galaxy, which is a new version of Point Salad. A lot of great games based off older games, which hopefully you will love. Anyway, that's all I have. I'm Hose. This is the Bangers Project. Laters.